Yogis, welcome to your Maya Align practice today. 2 props required for today's practice. I like to take a blankie, a reasonably thick blankie, one that you can fold up that will assist us for our seat today and of course for the end of practice too. And also a bolster or a couple of nice big thick cushions or pillows. You won't need your bolster straight up, so if you do have that one handy, then just pop that one off to the edge of the mat. If you don't have it, hit pause now and go and grab that one. Your blankie, once you're back with us, you're going to be folding that one up so you've got a nice edge, and then taking a subtle elevation today. You'll find when we take a seat upon our bolster or our pillows, it's a really intense elevation and the hips are well above the knees. What we're looking for today is a bit of a silkiness, a softness, more of a surrendering into our positioning, allowing, yes, the knees to drape and the pelvis to open. But there's no force. It's soft, it's subtle, it's silky. And once you've found your way to your gentle elevation, I want you to find your seat and find the pelvis tilted ever so slightly, still allowing for that natural spine, but really feeling into and embedding the sit bones into the mat or the blanket beneath you. No cross of the legs and palms turned down, connecting inward today. Find the spine nice and long, elongating all the way through from the sit bones above and beyond the crown. A gentle little tuck of the chin. Again, no force here, but we want to look to open through the back of the neck ever so slightly. And with the eyes closed down here, we begin connecting to our diaphragmatic breathing, our deep belly breath, stimulating the depth of our belly, stimulating that diaphragm to rise and to fall. As you inhale and invite the breath through the nostrils, follow it with your mind's eye as you draw the breath in to expand the lungs in all directions across the body, and feel the chest lift, but also feel the belly lower. Feel that little bit of compression that the diaphragm allows. As you exhale, feel a lightness within your physical body, a sensation of release. Inhale. And stay with that inhalation for a moment before allowing and releasing the breath for that exhale. And as you continue with your diaphragmatic breathing, feeling that pulping, that pumping, that push and pull of the low belly, the rise and the fall, I want you to feel that storm brewing inside of you. And this is the calm before the storm. And just as our internal and external environments are closely related, correlated, we feel into that connection of the sensations within us and all around us. And sensing how our storm looks and feels today. And however that looks and however that feels, we connect to the sensation of Santosha. And Santosha is our deep underlying contentment. It's being satisfied with whatever rises, satisfied with whatever falls away from us today, whatever's fallen away from us. And this day, this week, this year, and allowing through our breath a sense of acceptance. And as you connect to those sensations today, our Dharma and our theming for today's practice is considering your Santosha. And so as you sit in these final few breaths with your sensation of Santosha, and throughout today's practice, I want you to become the watcher and notice if your connection to Santosha and your understanding and comprehension of Santosha is surrender or a settling. Are you choosing to surrender, or are you simply settling? And yogis, gently blink open the eyes if you had them closed down. And we'll continue to feel into that. But for now, let's invite a gentle arm flow and some twists. The twists that we're working with today in our expansion, our back bending, our flexion and extension is all that pulsing sensation surrounding the spine and our central nadi and energy system and channel, the Sushumna. Extend the fingertips beside you, reaching for that connection. Beside the hips, long line of energy from the earth channeling through fingertips, up the lengths of the arms, and feeling that ripple over the shoulders through the spine and out of the crown. Your connection through the crown and channeling back down into the earth. 3 more breaths here. And coming back to your softening, your surrender. 2nd breath. And 3rd and final breath in the stillness of your seat. Beautiful. And we're going to work today to undress and delayer. Left arm crossing over right, and as you do so, curling in and rounding out, opening through the back of the chest, the heart, and then elevating the elbows and drawing to open to the sky. Fingertips to reach, eyes to gaze. Left hand leads once more, and as you take this rotation, you're looking to place the left hand over that right knee. Right hand acting as a spine and taking that twist, gazing over the right shoulder. Feel that first ringing action of the spine. Rewind and unravel. And as you take it to the sky, left arm to cross. Fingertips extend, inhale, draw to rise. Exhale, release the breath. Right arm to cross. Feel that rounding out through the back body, maybe taking a grip here of the elbows as you feel into that beautiful back body opening. Take the elbows to the sky, inhale, and find your extension and your reach. As you exhale, right arm draws across the body, feeling that diagonal twist. Right hand over, left knee, gazing over that left shoulder. Beautiful. That ringing action of the spine we're connecting to today. Drawing back to center. Right arm releases once more in front of the body as you draw down, rounding out through the back of the neck here. Fingertips to connect, inhale, draw to rise. We're taking that twice more each side, yogis. A little more fluidity now, left arm, inhale, rise. Your left drawing across the body to right knee, gaze over right shoulder. Draw back to the sky. Left arm peels in front. Inhale, rise. Right hand to lead on the exhale, crossing the body. You're delayering today. And taken through our twists, our turns, sensing that storm within us. Right hand leads, inhale, rise. Right hand in front. Inhale, we rise once more. You have one more round each side, left arm to lead. Inhale, rise, and feel into that lengthen, that expansion. Our exhale draws you into the twist, gaze over right shoulder. Inhale, rise. Yogis, no matter how many times you fall, left hand leads. We say that true strength of character and the true definition of warriors. The warrior within you. Final round, right hand leads. And this how many times you rise, how many times you get up. Right hand over left knee, gaze over left shoulder. Inhale, you rise. Right hand leads, drawing down. Fingertips to connect, inhale. This time both hands flip and we draw to rise. And finding your hands in prayer, your exhale draws you into heart center. Beautiful. Yogis, that sensation of Santosha can be complex and confusing, and that storm that's inside of you and that surrounds you. No matter how it looks, no matter how it feels, today's practice, and as you take this Dharma beyond the mat, it's not about the definitions. It's about you becoming the watcher and observing and noticing whether your connection to Santosha is a surrender into that which you cannot control, or whether you are in fact settling. Let's rise from our seat and explore that a little further. As you release that and blankie and pop that one at the other end of your mat. We're going to be taking the back body to the mat in just a moment. And first of all, finding your seat and taking the feet nice and wide, hands to shins. Inhale, find length for the spine. And that beautiful unraveling that we came to just a moment ago, we're going to draw down to round out through the spine, and you'll stay with that little bit of support for now and finding length through the arms. And as you inhale and draw to rise, again, allow that left hand to lead. No assistance now. And that left hand draws behind you, finding its place and position in the center of the mat. And that right hand this time draws outside, long arm, outside that left knee. Deep twist. You feel a little more through the spine, a little more in the back body, a little more in the shoulder than your initial seat. The inhale, draw back to rise. And take the hands to the shins, round out through the back body, just the once more with this one. As you now take that right hand on top, inhale. And find length, right hand meets center of the mat, and that left arm stays long, linking outside the right knee as you take this deep twist, drawing the gaze over right shoulder. And feeling into this new layer of your twist, of your wringing out of a storm in your spine. Inhale, draw to rise. And take the shins, and this time as you round out, we're rounding all the way down. Allow the hands to run the length of your legs and reach overhead. Settling the arms beside the body. And feet still shoulder width apart, but walk them in just a little closer. We're coming to our ripples of our spine. Fingertips to connect to the Achilles, the backs of the heels. As you inhale now, tilting the pelvis towards the face, and just feel that tuck of the pelvis and allow the sit bones to rise. Palms open, ready to receive or turn down. whatever feels right for you today. As you exhale, reverse that tuck of the pelvis, feeling an opening of the low back, a tilting and a pouring, an offering. Inhale, take that tuck. And with each gentle rock and roll here, as you take your exhale and pour the pelvis open. Inhale. And draw the pelvis forwards, tucking pubic bone towards the face. Your offerings, finding just a little more with each breath. At the end of each breath, a little deeper release through the spine. And when it feels right for you, begin lifting the pelvis from the mat. We're slowly going to take this the next 3 breaths to find our way to lift lumbar spine. And through that gentle rock and roll, and then thoracic. Finally, finding our way all the way up to our bridge. And as you take that inhale here at the top of your bridge, finding that long line of energy from shoulders all the way through the knees. Exhale, unravel the spine. Let's take that 2 more times. Slowly this time, drawing to rise. Tuck of the pelvis, lifting lumbar, lifting thoracic, drawing all the way up and feeling that stable base just through the shoulders, the shoulder blades and cervical spine, back of the cranium, drawing a rest. Release the breath, release the body. Final time, inhale, tuck of the pelvis. Feel the stages, the levels and the layers as you draw to rise. As you release the breath and unwind, I want you to come back to sense those layers and those levels. Slowly releasing the spine and that collective effort that's involved with something so simple as drawing into a bridge. The legs drawing into contraction, your hip flex of the pelvis, your entire midsection, the stable foundational work through the upper body. As you draw to your seat, I want you to take the knees into the chest and round out now for your counter. I'm feeling into a nice tight little ball and maybe draw the forehead toward the knees. I'm going to take a little cross at the ankle and take a gentle rock and roll along the lengths of your spine. I'm finding a little rock and roll up and down the spine and enjoying those pressure points of the whole length. And just as the storms have different components and different layers, so do we, literally and energetically. And our Santosha does too. And today, as you take your final rock and roll, we'll draw to our seat and come back, opening into a Sukhasana, this time not supported, unsupported. Allowing the knees to open, and we'll find our way into a couple more deep twists here before we come back to the back body. Our back bending as we find our way through these twists. I want you to consider constantly coming back to that Dharma today. Is it Santosha, and are you surrendering or are you simply settling? That left arm peels you open and draws behind you, and this time as it plants, I want you to find your left hand open and find the center of the mat, that right hand extending forwards. This time, rather than rocking it outside that left knee, we're going to draw to rise, rolling over the shins and come to beautiful chest and shoulder opening, just extending right fingertips to the sky, and then come back to your seat. As you draw to your seat, that left arm draws over and now crosses into a twist. Right hand plants, gaze over that right shoulder. feeling our way through a simple rotation, but it's not a simple rotation, it has layers. And if we find ourselves compacting and rotating, we're not going to get the same depth and the same experience as if you invite space and length into that rotation. As we draw back and find center, I'm going to take that to the opposite side. Inhale in your seat. As you exhale, round out through the spine, take the right hand in front, and as we undress and release those layers, the inhale, draw to rise. And this time that right hand plants, fingers spread open nice and wide, center of the mat, and that left hand now, as you roll over, pressing into that right hand, drawing from your seat. Left hand to rise, and you should be feeling a really beautiful deep opening here through chest, through shoulders, and a contraction through the back body, some warmth. We are creating space through the front of your spine here to allow for that unraveling as you drop down back into your seat. Right hand now draws over the top, releasing outside left knee. Draw into that deep twist now. And already, if you were feeling into that nice subtle rotation before, you might find that I just got a few extra cracks then that you weren't able to release before, to allow for a full, complete level and space of satisfaction. We want space surrounding the entire spine. Draw back to center. We're going to take that twice more now, flowing through, rounding out. Left arm leads as you inhale, draw to rise. Left hand plants behind you. Your inhale draws you out of your seat. Right hand reaching to the sky. And as you exhale and rebound, that windmill action as the left arm draws over right knee, right hand plants. Draw over that right shoulder, take a pause. If you feel okay here and you want a little bit more space, we'll take a slide or a walk with that right hand and draw down into the elbow. And slowly finding your way back out of that elbow, back to center. Inhale in your seat. Exhale, round it down. Right hand leads as it crosses the body. Inhale. So beautiful. This time right hand plants our rebound. We rise, inhale, left to the sky. Exhale your seat and windmill the hands. Right hand over left knee, taking that rotation and twist, or finding a little more space as you soften into the elbow. Still using that right hand to draw into that twist. And that ringing of the spine, and slowly finding your way out of the elbow and back home once more each side. Find your seat, inhale. Exhale, round it out and down. Left arm leads, inhale, rise. Left hand plants, right hand rebound, draw to the sky. Maybe taking it beyond the sky and into a slightly deeper back bend if that feels accessible to you. Exhale, your windmill sweeps, left hand over that right knee. Deep twist, or settle into that elbow. And draw back to rise, yogis, your final side. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, round it down. Right hand to close out this flow. We draw to rise, take the gaze. Right hand plants, left hand rebounds, maybe to the sky or maybe just a little deeper into your back bench. Exhale your seat, windmill the hands. Left hand behind, right hand over knee, draw into that twist. Maybe slinking on in like silk into your deeper ringing action of the spine. And slowly find your way back to your seat. Inhale, find length. Draw back to the soles of the feet. Tight little hug now, tight little ball. Exhale, forehead to the knee. And if you can remember which cross you took, take the opposing cross of your ankles now and come back to that rock and roll up and down the spine. And this time as you take your rock and roll, we might go just a little deeper overhead this time. So as you rock and roll the lengths of your spine, you may find you're able to settle in around the thoracic or the cervical and maybe hang the legs overhead, and that should feel amazing for the back of your neck. And toes don't need to touch down here. You can find a stable base on the forearms, the elbows. You can allow the knees to drape, to rest on the forehead. Maybe heels to hang to hips. Or if it feels okay, extend them overhead. Into your halasana. Layer by layer now, slowly inviting the spine back to the mat. And we'll draw the feet back to that same space we found earlier. Shoulder width apart at least, and finding that connection of the fingertips to the shins. Now, our peak posture today is a back bend, but it's not a traditional back bend. So often I find that we consider or assume certain postures beyond our reach. And so we walk through and play through that acceptance. And if we don't have the strength in our upper body to lift our entire body into a full Dhanurasana, a full wheel pose, we simply see the settling side of Santosha and we assume that is out of our reach and it is off limits. And if you have any shoulder problems or spinal issues that restrict you from taking a press into Dhanurasana, then you are absolutely doing the right thing by honoring that. But what if there were layers and there were stages, and rather than taking the complete and full variation, the end journey, rather than settling and assuming that that's not available to you? What if there were other options? So we're taking those other options today as we draw back into our back body and find our way to our bridge. We're going to be inhaling and taking that tuck of the spine once more, drawing into bridge. And this time as you find your way all the way to that full height of your bridge, finding alignment from the knees all the way to the shoulders, we're going to find stability with our hands, and this time turn the palms down without adjusting the feet. And this is where the real challenge comes in. We're going to draw the left toes to the mat, releasing out of that sole of the foot and feeling that shift and the extra power required through the low body, through the right leg. And if you feel okay here, you're going to float that foot just for a second, maybe just tapping down. Or explore it for one more breath, taking an extension of that leg. And then reset. And drawing the back body down, take the knees in, counter pose your ball. Let's take that across to the right. Soles of the feet back to the mat and palms down to connect. Inhale, draw the pelvis into tuck, lift the lumbar spine, thoracic all the way up to your bridge. Fingers spread nice and wide, stable base, feet shoulder width apart. Right toe just to touch down. Feel into that alignment of the pelvis. And the sole of the foot just coming to tap the toe to the mat. Or maybe you take a pause and find a hover. And final breath, maybe taking that full extension. And feel into that strength that's accessible to you through that one single side. Unravel the spine. And draw the knees into the chest. And each preparatory posture that we take is allowing us and creating that space, making these postures that were seemingly inaccessible just a little more accessible. We're taking that just once more each side, this time with your 3 breaths. As you inhale and draw to rise, find your bridge. And take your 3 taps. or 3 extensions, coming back to tap the toe, feeling those hips nice and balanced and squared off. And slowly draw down whatever your option. Your counter. Inhale. Exhale to the ball. Inhale to open, settle the feet, shoulder width apart. Final time, should be feeling so much warmth through the back body now. Right toes to tap, right toes to extend. Working with your 3 breaths and your variation to feel into that warmth through the back body, the contractions. Exhale, draw it down and take your counter. Exhale into the ball. And so beautiful, yogis. And cross of the ankles and our rock and roll that we've been playing with. And this time drawing you all the way up to your seat and a little further, a little beyond. And taking your sukhasana, your cross. And we're going to take a walk down now. That bolster should be just within reach. And we'll roll it in. And just within reach to allow for space for the rib cage and the belly. Hands shoulder width apart. Now in the position you just had your feet a little earlier. And as you inhale, here and find length now and that tilt of the pelvis forwards, pouring the body. As you exhale, I want you to roll your bolster or your pillows away and slowly invite the rib cage down, opening through the front of the shoulders. Maybe finding the forehead to connect. As you inhale, rolling back up to find your seat. And 2 more times. Exhale. When we work our way through these layers of the postures and we're unveiling or removing the layers one by one, it's like a storm rolling in, rolling away. And sometimes it may feel like it hits you all at once, but if you take it in the layers, just like our back bends, if you take your time and work your way through those layers, rather than settle into settling and finding or feeling as if something's not accessible to you. Feet back, shoulder width apart, and this time allowing for heaps of space between the hips and the heels. And we'll take the hands back aside the shins. Inhale, draw that spine nice and long. And as you exhale and round out and down, I'm going to come back to that unlayering, unraveling, undressing. Left arm over the top. And draw the elbows to open. And as you reach for the sky and plant that left hand behind you, that right hand draws into the center between the feet. Now your left hand is going to be your stable base to draw you into a single side Dhanurasana now. Now you've done this with low body. We're going to inhale and now take it to the upper body. As you draw to rise with that inhale, soft bend through that left elbow, and you're simply taking that bridge style position and tucking the pelvis to float and drawing to rise and coming up into that bridge, and this time taking the right hand just to the sky. So you've got a beautiful long line of energy from that knee through to the shoulder, stacking the hands, and it's just like taking a side plank. You'll feel the extra load, the extra warmth through chest, through shoulders, but stay and hold. 3rd and final breath. And as you exhale and slowly guide the hips back to the mat, we're going to take a Marichiasana now, a twist. That left elbow now crossing over that right knee. Left foot drawing in to tuck. Now we're exploring our spine today with our back bends and exploring our spine with these beautiful spinal twists. And in your Marichiasana, And you can stay here or explore now a bit more of a bind as you release the elbow. And you can take the bind again on so many levels. And this is another one of those postures that people presume I can't do that. It's not accessible for me. And so I will embody and embrace Santosha, which our Santosha is our satisfaction and our acceptance of what it is. But is it satisfaction and acceptance, or are you settling? Can you take one of those layers? So maybe today's layer is simply an internal rotation and that left hand to plant on the hip. Or maybe you take it a little further and feed it through to allow the back of the hand to rest inside the ankle. Or maybe you take it feeding through and find a full bind, a full grip. Whatever your levels, whatever your layers of your bind and your back bends today, I want you to realize, acknowledge, and see. Become the observer of when you're settling. When you're really exploring all of Santosha. Let's draw it back in. Inhale, long spine. Taking that to the right side as you exhale and round out through the back. I'll draw to rise, right arm on top. Taking the elbows. Open the chest. Open the hands. Right hand plants and left hand just between the feet for now to rest. That right hand now acting as your stable base. Fingers spread wide, and we're in the center of the mat here to find a central channel and line of support. Soft bend in that right elbow. As you draw to rise, the tuck of the pelvis draws first. You've got some momentum with that left arm. So as you take the float and the tuck of the pelvis, you're drawing into that bridge position. Hips are staying nice and squared. Left arm to rise. You're in a reverse tabletop position here. Long line from knee all the way through shoulder. Left arm's extending and just exploring that strength through the right side of your body, the load in that right arm, the ability that you have to support yourself. So beautiful. We'll exhale and slowly draw the hips back to the mat, and we'll take that windmill, this time the right elbow outside the left knee, and the right foot draws into the cross. Your left hand acting as your spine, and we'll take our Marichyasana now, this side gazing over the left shoulder. And spinal twist you've taken before, and you've taken it beyond the layers we're currently experiencing here for the spine. Can we draw to open the shoulder and settle in and find the silkiness of your Santosha? And stay here for your final 3 breaths, or explore those layers, maybe internally rotating that right hand and taking the hip, or taking the ankle, or maybe you feed through that window and take a strap between the hands or a full bind. Staying with that beautiful deep belly breathing, and allow the belly to expand. Exhale, release. Drawing it back to center, feet nice and wide again. And taking that spine long as we bow the head. If you remember which cross you took earlier for your Sukhasana, take the opposing cross now. So the one that doesn't feel natural. And we'll take our forward fold, creating some length and space now through the back of the spine as you extend the arms and find your bolster. We'll inhale in our seat, nice long line through the back of the spine. And as you exhale, take your roll, take your walk. And when you play with Santosha, it's easy to get caught up in that acceptance, accepting things as they are, accepting things as they come about. as they find their way to you, our situations, our circumstance. And a lot of those things are out of our control, like the storm that happens around us. But what we can control is how we react and how we respond to that. Let's take that one more time. And so, yes, there's a level of Santosha in accepting the storm that surrounds you. That sensation of acceptance of what is. And the ways in which we control that is by layering up, by staying inside. But what about that storm that happens within us? Are you able to explore those layers? Draw the soles of the feet back to the mat. We're going to take our back bend 3 times each side now, and we're going to explore each side on just a slightly deeper level, a level that suits you, a unlayering. And that left hand is going to be leading to begin. Let's take an inhale and find the spine long. As you exhale, round out. And as you inhale, take that undressing left hand leads and plant it in the center of your mat behind. But we'll take our 3 levels here. So as we inhale and lift the hips from the mat, drawing into your reverse tabletop with that arm extending. You can stay here or find a deeper back bend as you slowly follow the line of sight with your hand drawing to the back of the room and stay here. Or maybe you're able to explore that right hand drawing all the way back down towards the mat. And final layer here is taking that right hand down, and you can take a rotation of the left. And unbeknownst to you, unbeknownst to the fact that you'd settled into being unable to explore your wheel, your Dhanurasana. You have found your way through the layers. And if you're in a full Dhanurasana, left hand rotates and we draw all the way back to our seat. Release this time, just drawing into that hug, crossing the arms, bow the head. So we'll take that 2 more times on the left, yogis, but we're going to find some balance and find that same level of exploration through the right side first. Hands to the shins, inhale, find length. Exhale, round it out. Right hand leads as you unravel. Draw into that opening long spine. Take the release gaze to the sky. Right hand to the mat. Find that center point. Left hand preparing to propel you into your reverse tabletop to begin. Tucking the pelvis. Find your ripple draw to rise. Left hand now reaching for the sky. And maybe you now take it overhead, drawing fingertips towards the back of the room, and maybe you stay here. Or maybe you find a deeper back bend, exploring those left fingertips to connect to the mat. And you stay here. Either way, you're in your Dhanurasana variation. Or maybe that left hand connects and you rotate the right, finding a full variation of Dhanurasana. Wherever you are, you have one final breath, and then we're ever so slowly reversing where we came from. If you're in your full Dhanurasana with me, that right hand rotates fingertips towards the back of the room, reversing and unwinding and coming back to your seat. Whenever you take those inversions where the head is below the heart, it's important to slow down, to take your time to come out of these postures. And draw the head to rise. Yogis, you have 2 more rounds on each side, but we'll stick with the left side for these next 2 rounds. And come to that little pulsing action that we found earlier with our toe tapping and with our bridge and those 3 pulses and those 3 points or positions you're playing with is the 3 that you've just explored. And drawing through and pulsing to our reverse tabletop and then finding a seat. And drawing in and exploring that half Dhanurasana and then find your seat. or stopping at any point you wish throughout this. Your third and final phase and stage is drawing all the way through to that seemingly inaccessible Dhanurasana. And today we are choosing Santosha, and we are allowing the spine to flow like silk in a level of acceptance to whatever point's accessible to you today. But we're choosing not to settle and accept that it's not available to us. Let's take this final round in your full version of your peak posture today. Left hand, inhale. Exhale, round out through the back. Unravel. Left hand plants, and we'll take that just off to that alignment with the shoulder this time, as you know now where you're going and you know those options. Right hand in front. Let's draw level one. Draw back to your seat. Straight back up, level two. Or staying with level one, or staying with level two. Exhale, maybe exploring level three, and maybe you find a touchdown. Exhale, find your way all the way back to your seat. Second and final time through these levels, these layers. Left side, inhale, finding your pulse. Staying with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. And final round, inhale, take it maybe all the way. And find your way home. Straight in, right side. Take the hands to the shins, find length. Exhale, round it out. Right hand leads as you unlayer. Right hand plants behind you, just off that right side of the mat now, in alignment with the right shoulder, now that you know where you're going. Inhale, pelvis tucks, spine lifts. Find that reverse tabletop and draw back to your seat. Teasing the spine. Inhale, take it to the back of the room. Exhale, your seat. Inhale, maybe all the way over now. I'm finding a touchdown. Exhale, your seat. We're taking that one final time, right side. Inhale. Exhale. Your version, your way, your layers. The layers of acceptance. The layers of surrender. Maybe finding all the way back to that full variation. And if you are at any level or layer in your Dhanurasana today, bring a smile to the face as you release back. Knowing that you are still able to access a level of acceptance and surrender in your Santosha. Forehead draws to rest. Rather than completely accept the fact that it's not accessible. And you surrender into those levels and layers and explore what's available to you. Completely and entirely embracing each layer of you. And yogis, drawing back to your seat, slowly raise your head and we'll reach for that bolster. Going to be taking this one now to run the length of your mat. So you tuck the bolster into the back of the pelvis, drawing the feet back up as you had them earlier, feet shoulder width apart, soles of the feet to the mat, and then slowly inviting the back body to open, the shoulders and the chest to open. Release the palms, the hands. We're going to heel. I'm going to allow initially the knees to fall inwards. allowing the knees to rest upon each other, and the hips internally rotating. And release the knees. Heel toe the soles in. And once your big toes meet, your heels meet, allow the knees to slowly surrender open. And finding your Supta Baddha Konasana. And just another breath. And flip the palms, touch down, chin into chest, draw to rise. And we'll take Diya, that left knee, and draws in to meet the inner arch of that right foot. And bolster still connected to that right hip. And now as you draw down in your deep spinal twist, and your spine's going to love you for this one, again, explore the layers. And you might take the side body, the right side body to the bolster, left hand acting as your stable base, or maybe opening the palm to surrender into the twist. And maybe this is enough for you. Maybe this is where you settle into or consider. Are you satisfied? Or are you settling? Being true to you, do you need a little more? If so, take the left hand to the mat, right hand to the mat, and square off the shoulders as you draw down. Maybe now opening the palms. Right cheek to meet the mat. Or one final consideration. How's your neck? Is it satisfied? Or if it too is carrying some stored energy and needs some unwinding, maybe you take the left cheek to the bolster, or if you're so close, take the blanket and allow for a little bit of extra height. Remember, there's layers to explore, and we don't simply always have to settle and accept that it is or it isn't accessible to you. The postures are, life experiences are, as there's many layers, many levels. It's not black and white. And final breath and draw to rise, and we'll take that to the other side. The postures are not black and white. And Santosha is not black and white. Let's take that to the other side as you find Diya with the left hip to meet the bolster. Making sure there's a connection there for the left hip, and your feet in Diya with that right knee meeting the inner arch of the right foot. And maybe you take side body to the bolster. And maybe that's finding your Santosha today. Or are you settling? And if you're not satisfied just yet, take the hands to the mat, find a deeper rotation, unraveling, and again, left cheek to the bolster. Or maybe you want a little more and you take some support and take the right cheek to the bolster. Beautiful deep spinal twist here. And that stimulation, that wringing out of your Sushumna. And release and find you, or have you feeling somewhat stripped bare and naked beneath your practice, beneath these layers. And we draw to rise. And slowly drawing it back to the front of the mat, and take your bolster with you. And placing it this time for your Savasana beneath the knees. Some support for the low back as you slowly find your body rounding out for the last time. Back body supported by the mat. Take a walk of the heels and find space. Find space for the arms, the hands. Flip the palms, and if you know you like to, take a blanket and for the body and stay nice and warm, do that now. If you know you like to drop the lights or find an eye pillow, do that now. Wherever you are, and take a clearing breath. Inhale. Open your mouth. Exhale and find your complete surrender. Find your Santosha. And yogis, if you have the luxury of time at home, please hit pause now and stay as long as you please. And otherwise, ever so slowly, finding your way in your time. And via side body, and back to your seat. And keeping the eyes closed down. And yogis, from your seats, and find your hands in prayer at heart center. And your inhale draws length in the spine. And your exhale finds you bowing, and the head to turn inward. And your final moment of introspection before you leave the four corners of your mat today. Santosha, satisfied or settling. And always exploring Santosha with that soft surrender and acceptance, and finding your way to being comfortable within your own body and your own skin. But never presume Santosha is giving up, giving in and settling. Explore the layers. And our quote today: I am content. I am grateful for what I have. And I am grateful for what I do not have. And yogis, thank you so much for sharing all that you have and all that you do not have with me today. Namaste.